time, I will get going. So, Kristen, I'm going to ask you, you already gave me sharing permission? Okay.
Yes.
So I will share my screen in a moment, but I just wanted to take a second and thank everybody who is on tonight for being here. And I know a lot of you who are here tonight have sort of been a part of this website redesign process over the last couple of months, or have offered input or feedback or ideas about things that you would like to see. So what I would love to do tonight is show you the initial draft of the redesigned website, talk a little bit about each section, and then talk about where we go from here. One thing I do want to note is there is a difference between redesigning the website and content cleanup and content changes to the website. So if you have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, and I can answer that. But some of the work that we have to do after we launch the refreshed website early next year will be continued content cleanup, content simplification. And so I want to, from the outset, say that please continue to provide feedback or any thoughts that you might have about how we can better use the website to communicate with the community. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so everyone can see the draft of the site. Just a moment. Okay, so Kristen, you can see that? Cool. All right, so as you can see, the website looks pretty different from the website that we have today. One of our goals, so we've talked about all along, making the site more attractive, more user-friendly, and accessible. And so right off the bat, we've got this redesign that includes a picture of Town Hall. There's some adjustments we need to make on sizing of images and things like that. This is just so everyone knows, this is a interactive JPEG, so I won't be able to click on everything, but this should give you a pretty good sense of where we're going. So I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down the website, and you'll see right off the bat, the website that we have today is a horizontal reading website. So there's columns that go across, which is not the way that most people read websites. So people are much more used to scrolling down now versus scrolling across. And so that's one of the changes that we've made, is information is stacked versus going across the site. So you'll still have headings up here at the top. We are going to change those headings to make them, again, more user-friendly. I'll show you an example from the town of Amherst that we like. And then on the mega menu, which is this thing at the top here, we're also going to simplify that. I think what we've heard is it's a little overwhelming for people as they hover over these section headers. So we're going to try to simplify that. Again, that's a content issue and not a design issue, but something that we're going to be working on as we're working on finalizing the design. On the left-hand side here, you'll see we've got the town's social media icons. So we've got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. And one thing that we heard is once you click into our current site, it's very hard to get back to the homepage. So you'll see the little town seal icon here. And when you click on that, you'll get back to the homepage. This sidebar here will appear on every page, so you can easily get back. We have also talked at length about making sure that the website is task-oriented. So when people come to the website, they're looking to either do something or find information. And so one big difference between the website that we currently have and this one that we're working on now is the main image that comes up when you come to Needham's website today makes it very hard. It's a very big image, and it makes it very hard to immediately start looking for what you're trying to find. So what we've done is reduce the size of the initial image and then create these graphic buttons so that people can easily find right away what they're trying to do. We have the alerts and notify me. So again, this is the notify me is if you're interested in information from a specific department, you can sign up to receive notifications. For example, one of the ones that is most frequently used is the field status update. People who want to know when fields are open and closed. So you'll be able to click on that. Online bill pay. I've heard several times throughout these forums that people want to easily be able to go online and pay their bills. So we do have a host of payments that can be made online. More are coming, but this is an easy way to go in, click, pay whatever you need to pay. Job postings with the town, the newsletter. So as most of you probably know, we started a weekly email newsletter back in June. And so this newsletter widget will allow people to sign up for the newsletter. And I'm hoping to also access the most recent one, but we're working on that. Agendas and minutes for upcoming meetings, front and center. And then this hot topics button will change. We need to find out what is the other most frequently performed task, which we can do by looking at our analytics, and we'll change that to reflect that. Scrolling down, you'll see there are 4 departments that are front and center. These are the departments that are most frequently visited by the public. So we will have a link to the police department, a link to Park and Recreation, a link to Public Works, and a link to the library. I'll also mention that part of our work with Civic Plus, our contract with Civic Plus, allows us to have 3 or 4 departments whose sites are more robust than other departments. And so we'll be working with each of the department leads on creating more robust content for their website. Again, police, Park and Rec, Public Works. Library has their own site, which they launched earlier this year, so that will remain the same. Continuing to scroll down here, news and latest highlights. So on our website today, our news section sort of lives in the middle of the website and is not attractive. It doesn't include any images. What this will allow us to do is you can see there are arrows left and right. So we can highlight the top 3 most recent pieces of news with images, and then you can scroll backwards or forward to find out what else is happening in town. Anytime we put a press release out, we can highlight it here. If there's important announcements, we can highlight that here. And then you can view all news and go back in time. The calendar I'm really excited about. I think probably the #1 piece of feedback I heard was people wanted a calendar that was more user-friendly. And so what we've done is create a whole section that's just the calendar. Right now, it's one of the vertical columns on the current website. This really brings the calendar front and center. So we have a general calendar, which includes all meetings and events. Then you'll be able to click on meetings and you'll see upcoming public meetings, so separate from any other events that are happening in town. And then the third calendar you'll be able to bring up is an event calendar. For example, the blue tree lighting would have been on the event calendar. One thing that you don't see here, but will be on the site when we launch it, which I'm really excited about, is there will be a button that says submit an event. We will have an internal process for determining whether or not it's an appropriate event for the town's website. But all the time we get community groups or individuals who want to share with the broader community something that is happening, and there's not a great way outside of the newsletter for sharing information. So people will be able to submit events for approval to be posted on the website. And then finally, popular services. So popular services are the things that are most frequently sought or requested. So we have the ability to change these popular services depending on the time of year. We might, for example, in the summertime, want to highlight pool information because we know during the summer, that's one of the most frequently viewed websites. Anything that is newsworthy and important that we know people are looking for, we will be able to put in here. Civic Plus is now partnering with Google Analytics. So the town will get a Google Analytics set up, and that'll allow us to more easily understand how people are using the website and what information people are looking for. To the right here, you'll see this is the town's Facebook page. It's embedded directly into the website going forward. We chose not to do Facebook and Twitter because we often post the same information, and Facebook is just more visually appealing. So we have that right there. And then at the bottom is frequently asked questions. These are the things we either get calls about or emails about, or we know people are searching for. We'll have contact information. We will add other buildings contact information here as well. And then I'm going to scroll up. We still have the search bar up here at the top, and we're continuing to do content cleanup and search. What's the right term? We're trying to maximize our searching abilities so that when you go in, everything is coded with a keyword that matches the things that people are looking for. And then I'm going to show you one other thing. So this is what an interior page will look like. So if you go to government and you click on Public Works, when you click on Department of Public Works, you'll get this interior page. We are working to standardize all departments' pages as well as pages of boards and committees, so that there's an explanation of what the department does or the division does or what the board or committee does. And then relevant information, including for boards and committees, meeting dates, membership. For departments, you'll have contact information here on the right-hand side. And then you'll see over on the left-hand side, navigation links for things that are most commonly requested or searched for. I just want to show two websites. So I had asked at the beginning of this process a few months back for feedback on other communities' websites that that we should look to when creating our redesign site. And Coppell, Texas was one of the ones I heard most frequently. So Coppell, Texas, I'll just go through it. I'll just scroll through it quickly. You can see is not too dissimilar from what we have now modeled our site on. You can see they've got the events section. They've got the news section, and then the most frequently sought services or tasks. I mentioned wanting to change the headers at the top to be more user-friendly. So the town of Amherst has a good drop-down menu, and I like that it's focused on your government, our community. It's just more user-friendly, I think, and welcoming. So you'll see their drop-down menu is significantly shorter than ours. They've got the departments, which is longer, and then they've got community. So a lot of people expressed an interest in having more information about the town's restaurants and businesses, having information for new residents in town. This is sort of where that would go. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen unless people have specific questions and I can pull it back up. Before I open it up to any questions, I just want to mention a couple other things. This site, we're still on track to launch the beginning of the year. So January, February-ish timeline. I'll be presenting this to the select board next week at the meeting. So any kind of questions or feedback that they might have, we'll make those changes. As I've mentioned in the past, while I, as public information officer, sort of set the direction for the website, it's really up to our departments to update their pages. And so we're working with Civic Plus to get someone from all of our departments trained and up to speed on the new site, but also things like making their department pages more easily searchable, putting relevant information front and center, adding imagery to, again, just make the site more user-friendly, less clunky, less text-heavy. We are in coordination with the launch of the new site, also going to be launching a new mobile app. So our mobile app, we do have a mobile app right now. It's basically just the website on your phone. It's not user-friendly. It's not frankly all that helpful. So we have a new mobile app coming with the new site. So I will make sure that when we announce the new site, I also give the link to download that app. And then one other thing we've worked out with Civic Plus is a virtual webmaster. So if we're hearing from folks that they still can't find stuff or there's more information that we've been wanting to put out there, but for whatever reason, we're not able to, the webmaster is a virtual webmaster who can quickly turn around stuff for us so we can make faster changes to the website to be more responsive to the community. I am going to stop there and I'll open it up for questions if anybody has questions or thoughts.
Hi, I arrived late, but I guess one question I have that I might not have seen is there something that's services or in one of the sites you showed a how do I oriented?
I'm gonna pull it back up. Is that David?
Yeah, the way things are organized at the moment, you have to know what department you're looking for, as opposed to I'm trying to do something and I don't care what department it is. I just want to know how to do it.
Sure. So let me just find.
I mean, I think that sort of falls under the I want to category in that one you were showing.
Yeah,
but I might have missed you showing that on our new one.
No, 1 second. Okay, so can you see the homepage again?
Oh, okay. I see a how do I now. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the how do I up here, but then there's also these 6 graphic images. And these are the things that people most frequently want to do, right? There's receiving information, which you can do by searching or clicking on the department, but then there's the actual accomplishing tasks on the website. And those can all be done with these big buttons.
Okay, I was thinking more of something like permits, where sometimes you need a permit from the fire department, sometimes you need it from the building department. You might go to town hall because you don't know that those aren't in town hall.
Yeah, that'll be under the how do I. We'll have a permitting section. Or, the easiest thing to do if you're starting at square one, you don't know where to start, is to put permitting in the search bar. And that, David, actually, that's also something for us to consider. I mentioned earlier, this hot topics button is a placeholder. it may make sense for us to change that button to a permitting button, for example.
Yeah, and if there are things, I would just say that if there are things that are hot topics in terms of access or big meetings, is there a sort of like a scroll bar or something on the top of the homepage that could be done, or is that way down still?
So that would be if there's a big announcement or you know, some kind of thing we want to highlight, it would be under news and latest highlights. We do, for example, on the new, I mean, on the current website, sorry, we do have a banner right now up for COVID-19 information. That banner is something that's always available to us to use if there is some breaking news or some big event in town. We could always use that banner.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe mundane stuff, like the stuff that shows up on some of the signs on the roads. Like the RTS is going to be closed early on Christmas Eve, or
Yeah, so that would live in the news.
there's
news
a
and
special
latest
election a
highlights.
couple days ago, or what have you. You know, you could put
That would live
something up
in,
weeks in advance. You know, please scrolling by to whoever went to the webpage, please vote, as opposed to having that down as an article I have to click on.
yeah, it's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
There've been a couple times too that there have over the last couple decades been things like water main breaks or
Yeah.
a gas fire or a road closed or something. And if there was some way we could just pop something, you know, at the top of the main page that was topical that a lot of people might want to know,
Totally.
as opposed to making them look for it.
Yep. Yeah.
I like the
That makes
design. These are just suggestions. These aren't criticisms.
No, I appreciate that. That's good feedback.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would it be possible to make the home button the seal that's in the upper left of the web page? I think it's really hard to know that that's a home button down there at the bottom of that list. It's hard to make out that it's even a seal.
Yeah,
Plus,
it's something before we
Yeah.
launch. So to answer your question, yes, I think we can make that a clickable link to return to the site. But I also I agree the current mock-up is not clear, so that's something we need to work with Civic Plus to redo that button.
Yeah, because what I noticed as you were scrolling down is that little strip of Facebook, blah, 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 home disappears,
Yep,
right?
I
It
see
gets
what you're
covered.
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, well, if there are
Sorry,
no more,
sorry, I have a question.
is it Karen?
Yeah, it's Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. So when you chose, you know, what the most popular things were, was that based on searching or clicking, or how did you come up with that? And I'm
It's the-
also just wondering, because if something doesn't really have a presence now, you don't really know, you know, you wouldn't really know if it was popular. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. So to answer your question, it's both. It's not how people get to the page that we looked at. It's the pages with most frequented visits.
Yeah.
So, and again, that will change, right? So depending on the time of year, or you know, just generally what is happening in town, we'll be able to change not the departments, but we'll be able to change this section down here, the popular services, to reflect whatever is most sought. In terms of things that are not currently on here, as I mentioned, we're partnering with, or Civic Plus is partnering with Google Analytics. And so as new pages are added or new information is added, we will get reports from Google Analytics about information that is being accessed.
Yeah, so the league was particularly interested in having a easy way to volunteer for boards and positions in town and elected things like that. So, that doesn't exist right now. So I wouldn't know if it was popular or not. So if we could have something that said, something prominent that says you want to volunteer for a town government or something more sexy than that.
We do have on the current board and committee page, if you're talking strictly boards and committees, there is a section on the board and committee page that says volunteer opportunities. But there may be a better way to do it. And
It's
like
hard
you
to
said,
find.
bring it front and center.
It's hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that speaks more to improving our content. And that will be an ongoing thing. But I do think, again, some of this stuff is changeable. So it may be that we, for a while, highlight volunteer opportunities in the news and highlights section. To David's earlier point, perhaps we run a banner for a while. It's good feedback. And this is the kind of stuff, like, even after we launch, if there are ways that people feel like, if there are things that people feel like they would like to highlight or that the community should be aware of, my open door with me. So just feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Cindy,
Thank you.
Cindy, hi, it's Michael Fee.
Hi, Michael.
Just quick question on town meeting. So is that going to replicate sort of what we've seen before, which is that would be, a drop down under government, then sort of into town meeting, both sort of constant information about town meetings and members and then separately kind of a special section organized by sort of meeting warrants? Is that?
Yes, and then when we're approaching town meeting or a special town meeting, we can highlight that front and center on our news and highlights.
Yeah, that was my next question. Yeah, whether we could do that, so just so people are aware that something's coming up on the top topic.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. It looks really promising.
Thank you.
In terms of Karen, this is David again. In terms of Karen's comment and my sort of how do I comment, are there any other places that sort of have a button or a how do I that's how do I become more involved with my town?
We don't have one right now, but up here under your government, it's an opportunity for us to put a section, how do I get more involved in my government? I can also, to your point, explore the idea of adding a banner.
Well, it strikes me
Knowing
at
that
the level
that's-
of the other comments that you could have a volunteer for something. You could have an attend town meeting, which is
Yeah.
coming up in 2 weeks from Michael's comment, but you could also do non-town government things. You could say, take a hike and highlight one of the hiking trails. I mean, there are things you could do or volunteer. I don't know if we have any things where people volunteer to pick up trash in parks or those types of things, but
Yep.
I wouldn't know where to find them either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is good feedback.
it doesn't have to be just what I was suggesting, doesn't just have to be about getting involved in government. I think, volunteering for anything, it would be good to have that.
The community council, whatever.
Yeah, I like that.
Excuse me, I have a question. So I'm wondering about the search facility and what you're doing to improve that. So as an example, I'm on the current website and I used the search, I typed in 2021 select board election results, like figuring out what, finding out what the election results were from yesterday.
Mhm.
And the first 10 things that come up are, well, 2014 state primary election results. That's the first. Then 2016 elections. And then there's like 3, looks like contact information for 3 of the 5 select board members and so on. There's like nothing that's, I'm wondering if there's an advanced search or something that'll help us narrow down what we're searching for.
There's not an advanced search. Part of what I referenced earlier with the staff training is, and this is probably more information than you want, on the back end, when information is posted to the website, the poster should be putting in keywords so that when someone searches election results, select board election, whatever you would think of when searching for that information, they're supposed to be putting in those keywords. That's sort of how the search function works. It picks up those keywords. So one of the things we will talk about in the training that's going to take place in January for the department website liaisons is how to make sure that the information that's being posted is searchable. So it's all well and good to put the information out there, but if people go to the search bar as we tell them to and they can't find it, then it's not that useful. So we will be talking about that. The other piece of this is over the last several months, we have been going through a process of cleaning up information on all of the department web pages that is no longer relevant, so that if you're looking for stuff now, you're not getting information from 10 years ago. That takes a lot of time. There's an incredible amount of information that is stored on our website. But between those two things, the content cleanup and making sure people know how to add in searchable terms when they post, my hope is that it'll be easier to access information using that search bar function.
Thank you.
Sure.
Cindy, can I ask you, you had originally scheduled another meeting, a Zoom in January.
Yep.
Is that still on, or are you going to?
I'm not sure it will be on the date I initially scheduled it, because that was really intended to be when we've launched the site. So we will still do that final session, but it'll be dependent on when we're ready to go and hit
Okay,
publish.
we had posted that date, so I should
Yeah.
take that down.
I think it was January 5th.
Yeah, it was early. Yeah.
So it's unlikely it'll be that early, but I'll definitely let folks know when we're ready to go.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, I appreciate again everyone attending tonight. I really do mean it. Please send me any thoughts or feedback. You can reach me at CRoyGonzalez, GONZALEZ @needhamma.gov. I'm also on the town manager's website, if that's or webpage, if you want to go to the webpage and find my email there. This is an I'm really excited about the new site, and I think we've come a long way from where we've started, but I'll say this is an ongoing process. And we're going to continue to refine the site, continue to take the feedback that we're hearing, and make it more user friendly. So with that, I just want to say thank you again, and I'll see you sometime in the new year.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you,
Take care.
Cindy.
Thank you very much.